I was just doing a quick update, doing a one take here. Good and bad news. And I figured I'd say something. You see all these? They're all flawed from the printer. Oh, oy. I will do videos on printers, and I have requests from some of you. So I've got videos in the works. So good. Let's go over the good first. Good news is I am this close to being done with my copy edit, which means that I've gone through all of my editor's notes. I think book 2, it's bulkier. Each book in the main trilogy gets a little bulkier. This is a Cedar Wars series, Cedar Shadow Wars. If you haven't gotten that already, you can get it possibly, library, and like everywhere else. So Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Apple, everything. Anyway, so book 2, right, I think it's like 390 pages or so of copy and line edits with my editor. Oh, that was a lot to go through. So I've gone through all of her notes, just waiting for a response on one thing. Have some notes about like this and that I still need to edit, but I've figured out what I'm doing there. And then just need to sift through the scenes and go over some general notes of, like, this character is coming off a little one note. Where can I just add like a sentence, a paragraph of more interiority, what they're thinking of their struggle, that kind of stuff. And then basically once I'm done with that, I will give it one more visual read through. Well, I'll probably listen to it, have Microsoft Word, you can actually have it read to you. And that really helps you to catch errors. And then I will do a visual read through. And yeah, so at least a couple more read throughs, and then I will give it back to her. My copy and line editor also does my proofreading, so she'll go back through, make sure I didn't introduce any new grammatical things, and just very strictly on punctuation and that kind of stuff and spelling. But yeah, that's the good news. Been working super hard, and then once I can get that out of my hands to her for proofreading, I've got a little bit of time to be able to keep unpacking. I won't show you what this apartment looks like. It's a mess. I just, I have to find time, and the sooner I can get the book back to my editor, she can work on proofreading and I can be working on, edits to book 3 and unpacking. And once I'm unpacked, then I'll be able to situate a filming area so I have better lighting, so I can film more videos. I can find my cord to get my camera footage onto my laptop to edit for things. Oh, it's just, I need to push through to a point where the work can be shifted to someone else's responsibility. And then once she comes back with the proofread, then I can fix that, and then I can send off for a proof copy from the printer. And while I'm waiting from the printer, then I can, go back to working on other projects. But when the ball's all in my court, it's halted until I throw the ball back to someone else. So just slogging through that. Anyway, I've also been living off of crazy schedules. I don't know why. I'm probably drinking too much caffeine, but I don't feel like it is. I'm not even taking as much stimulants that I'm prescribed for my ADHD, but even with my sleep meds, I'm not getting to sleep well. I'm falling asleep usually between 4 and 6 a.m., usually closer to 6 a.m. for the last week. That's no bueno. So I don't know. Gotta figure that out. Let's get to the very bad. My parents, who I have not seen in months, so no worries there if you've seen me at like an author signing or something. But my parents have both tested positive for COVID, which is very disheartening because they're both fully vaccinated, and it was almost certainly picked up from a coworker, and my dad was not only vaccinated, but also wore a mask to work. Wasn't even required to, just did it. And still happens. So they have pre-existing conditions, And last night, well, I say last night, it was really this morning, but I was just going to bed. I got text from my mom and dad that my dad ended up taking her to the ER. So, gosh, I'm doing a one take, so I'm not going to edit. But it just sucks. It sucks. Because you can do everything right. People still have to work to live, you know? So she's definitely weaker generally with her health, so it's not surprising. He's still got a rough road, and we'll see. It hadn't even hit his lungs until recently, and he's always had bad lungs, so we'll see. He might end up there too. But for now, he's feeling mostly better, except for the fact that now we've tacked on the respiratory. My mom, again, they took her to the ER. They wouldn't take her, and they transported her, I think my dad said an hour and a half away, to a hospital that has a COVID ward. So she's there, and won't even allow my dad to visit, even though he has COVID. He got sent home because he's in decent enough shape right now. And she's on oxygen because she was super low, and they're giving her IV fluids and stuff because she couldn't keep anything down. So frustrating. And it's just so annoying. And you know, you can easily be mad at the person, the coworker who came to work sick. But, you know, it's something that can be asymptomatic. My dad thought at first that he had food poisoning because they had been trying new restaurants because they recently moved to this area. You know, and I know as someone who got LASIK, like right as COVID was ramping up and discovering that it gave me super dry eyes, which leads to extra fatigue, at least for me, along with trying to sort out other meds. Like, I always have fatigue. And I learned that the dry eyes just kills me, and so I was using a lot of eye drops. Well, I also learned that eye drops with preservatives in them, because of the way that your eyes, ears, and throat and nose connect. There are some, I never know how to pronounce it, eustachian tubes. I think that's how you'd pronounce it, a little more Polishly. I don't know. I should look that up. But anyway, there are some tubes, and it gives me a sore throat when I use eye drops. I tried some tricks that the eye doctor said to try to avoid that, but it sucks. And so, like, as COVID is raging, I'm like, well, I can't go anywhere because I have a sore throat, even though I finally made the connection that, like, when I take eye drops, then the next day is when I have a sore throat. Anyway, so I can understand even someone going and feeling like, oh, I'm just, you know, I didn't sleep well last night, and, you know, they're already spreading it, not realizing it. So I can't hate on someone else. I mean, by all means, if you know you're sick, please just stay home. But yeah, that's where we're at. Just recently heard from my dad that, and my mom, they finally gave her some anti-nausea medication so she could try to get some food down, because I think it's been a few days. And they did x-ray her. She does have damage in her lungs from COVID, which again is surprising. This is just like a nasty, nasty bug, because like my dad, she did not have any respiratory symptoms until like yesterday. So they've been battling this for a week or more. I don't remember when she first told me. But yeah, you can do everything right. You can try your best. Sometimes it just happens. So I haven't been crying much because what does that do? Anyway, gosh, guys, I've just been crying on this channel. But that's life. I should stop. I should just stop this video. Ooh. Anyway, I just want to give an update. That's where I'm at right now. Good news for the book. Just not great news for everything else. But I know a lot of people have not gotten their book yet, which is ridiculous because it's almost 2 weeks since the release. And I'm sorry about that. One person that lived 2 hours from me here in the US, we have printing facilities in the US. Their book is getting shipped from the UK. Why? Why? And then another, Amazon lost the copy of their book in printing industry. Anyway, I don't remember if I've said this in another video, but I'm sorry if you have not gotten your copy. Hopefully it gets there soon. If it does get lost, if it does not come in good shape, definitely please take it up with whatever retailer you bought from. You deserve a good quality book, and I'm excited to hear your feedback. So I have, the reviews are sitting a little bit above 4 stars, and that's, of course, everyone wants those 5 stars. And if you look at popular, traditionally published books, it's a landslide of 5 stars. And I don't have that. And I think some of it is I'm still finding my audience. And it is a little bit kind of genre bending in some ways. So it's not a traditional story. And when reviews come in saying that it's a unique story, I'm like, is that unique a good unique or bad unique? Because you only give it 4 stars. But a lot of people, 4 stars is great and 5 is like never heard of. I just haven't found those super fans, and that's okay. I appreciate the honesty. And I'm excited. I'm just really excited for the people that have gotten it into their hands. Some people that I haven't seen in years, and we don't talk regularly. But they've told me like, hey, I'm 75% of the way through it, and I love it. I love the witty dialogue and the sarcasm and all that kind of stuff. And so that warms my heart. That warms my heart. And, just the commentary on the themes that you like in that. I really appreciate that. And again, I'm open to criticism. Gosh, should I just ramble? I mean, obviously you can click away, so I'm going to ramble a little bit more. So last night I was, again, going through my copy edits for book 2. And same thing with book 1. There usually ends up being, like a dozen or so edits that my editor suggests, and I just struggle to accept them. And it's not necessarily because I feel like they're wrong. Sometimes I am like, I don't get it. So I'll ask for clarification, or, maybe it just doesn't have the vibe I want, or anyway, multiple reasons. A lot of times it's just, I understand that they want to change for grammatical accuracy, but the vibe I'm trying to give with my poetic license, my authorial voice, I'm clinging on to wanting it the way I want it. And so I'll take it to other people and just say, hey, will you read these lines for me? I'll tell you what my editor said. And then I want to tell you why I'm struggling to accept this. This is the way I'm seeing it. What are your opinions? And, but I have to ask multiple people, because a lot of times they have complete opposite opinions if you just ask 2 people. So anyway, I got like half a dozen commenting last night, and it was just funny. One of them was like, I don't know, partway through the document, she was like, do editors really get this picky about things? I'm like, I don't know if all editors do, but mine does, and that's why I hired her, because she's extremely thorough. And just like one line, it was changing in the sentence from a were to a was, and I was like, really? I feel like I've always heard it with a were, and it sounds weird. So instead of bugging her for an explanation on every point, because it probably annoy her by doing that too much, of being like, I don't understand this, tell me why you're suggesting this. I looked it up myself, and it's like conditional, unreal conditional phrasing or something. And so I read, a little bit about that, and I was like, okay, cool. I will never remember this rule, but it's cool that I have an editor that knows that crap. And even though it reads a little odd to me, sometimes it takes a few times, and I'm like, okay, I'm used to that. Just like when I started in this journey, the word squeezed, oh, he squeezed her tight into a hug. Squeezed sounds so weird to me. I don't know why, but I naturally gravitated to the word squoze. And I didn't realize most people don't use squoze. I don't know why, but I had beta readers that were just like, ugh, gross. What kind of word is that? People even thought it was comical. Like, that's not a real word. That's a funny made up word. Which ironically, when I mentioned that to my editor, she's like, actually, if you look at Merriam-Webster's, it is listed as a dialectal form. So you could use it if you want to, but you know, if you've gotten negative feedback about it, most people are not going to appreciate it. So I have banned myself from using the variant of squoze, which is funny because when I mentioned that to my parents, they're like, yeah, I don't know where you got that because we would never use that. I don't know either. Why do I sometimes use weird words and phrases? This is why I need an editor and also other people for me to be like, am I just like screwing up the idiom? Chomping at the bit, or is it champing at the bit? Comment below. I want to know. My editor corrected that one. She said the idiom is champing at the bit. And I was like, yeah, that definitely doesn't sound like what I've heard before, but I have gotten idioms wrong multiple times, and she's corrected me on those. And so I looked it up, and, you know, there was like some hazy area on some sites of like, yeah, a lot of people use chomping at the bit, kind of as like it's becoming more accepted as people misunderstand it, though technically in some ways it could be appropriate. It does have slightly different connotation. And so I took it to people last night. It was funny. I had one person that was like, I'm good with either. And then one was like, I'm not a native English speaker. I don't think I'm very helpful on this variant. But out of the other 4 people, one agreed with my editor at champing at the bit. And she is a Kiwi, New Zealander, who grew up with a Brit mother. And I think that's telling, because I think it's a very British phrase of champing at the bit. And then all 4 of the others, I know at least one is an American, one is a Canadian. I don't really know the other 2. I don't remember. All were like, dude, what is champing at the bit? It's chomping at the bit. I've always heard chomping at the bit. I'm this many years old and I've always, 100% chomping. So I'm going to have to tell my editor, because she's like, I'm curious. Let me know what your straw poll says. Anyway, I don't know. It's a fun journey, and figuring out words, wordplay, it's incredibly frustrating, but also gratifying. Anyway, I am yammering on, and one, that takes away from what I need to be doing, which is finishing those edits, and 2, it takes forever to upload to YouTube on my phone, or at least it did my last place. I think my internet is a lot better at this place, but we'll see. I'm going to stop holding you hostage. If you made it all the way to the end, comment below. I don't know. Comment below that you made it to the end. I don't have anything clever. I don't know how many people are going to watch this anyway, but that's the current update. If you are the praying type, feel free to include my family in your prayers. If you are not, feel free to include them in your kind, warm thoughts. Trying to keep a positive outlook. I know it could go very bad, but she's been successful at pulling through things so far 100% of her life. So, you know, they've got competent professionals working hard through a decent outbreak. They're in the Nebraska, Ohio area, or not Ohio, Iowa. Yes, I don't even know my Midwestern geography. They recently moved there. I've never been there. But yeah, apparently they've got a couple of decent outbreaks that they expect to get not so great in those areas. So, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep your chin up. Let me know, chomping or champing. Have a good one, guys. Bye.